Hey everybody, how you all doing? And I'm here today with a very special, yet another movie review that it's a long overdue review because I've been putting off for quite some time. Then of course, add insult to injury, I meant to get this out 2 months ago and I never did. So a little bit of backstory. Today I'm reviewing the Kingsman, the third Kingsman movie, the prequel, as you would say. So a little bit of backstory is that, remember back in the end of June when I was going to Florida for a week to visit family and whatnot? So during the flight, I was trying to find something to watch, and apparently this was on the little, in-flight little kiosk where you can just, where you can play games and watch movies. So I said, you know what, how about I start watching it? And I did. And then by the time I landed, well, unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to finish it. But then a week goes by, I was able to pick this up and rewatched it again. So finally, after two viewings, I'm gonna give my thoughts on the third Kingsman movie, or like I said, this is the prequel to the other two movies. It's like giving you a history of, okay, how did these guys come to be, and what are their origins? And of course, it's a damn shame. I wish I kind of knew more because, again, I know this is based on a comic book series. I should have gotten some more. Maybe I could have expanded and should have. That way, I wouldn't go into the movies thinking with like, okay, what am I expecting or whatnot kind of thing. But beside that, when I first watched it, I thought I was pretty impressed. I really liked how they went with it. I love the whole fact that, like, the whole story and the origins of the kingdom date back to the events preceding the First World War. It's really clever, and like I love how they twist history a little bit, which I think is a pretty cool thing here. It's like, but at least they kept everything concise. Like, okay, the Franz Ferdinand, the Archduke, gets assassinated. All this other crap goes on, which eventually segues into the First World War. I pretty much enjoyed all that, but especially the North Africa part, the prologue. I was like, oh my goodness, this is definitely other more things preceding into the war. I was like, this is good, some good stuff. But mainly the North Africa stuff had me thinking of my great uncle, because I do have an uncle that actually served during the North Africa operation, but was much later. When Rommel invaded. This wasn't just about in the same time, but that's a story for another day. But as for the rest of the movie, I felt like it was pretty darn good. Like I was kind of expecting a little more, but I was shocked. Like, not over the top violent deaths, but there was just something cool to behold. Just watching everything just unfold, and you're starting to root for some of these characters, especially Ralph Fiennes' character. Orlando Oxford, the guy that essentially, I would say, the foundation, the guy that essentially creates the Kingsman kind of thing. And of course, they go into detail of how that happens as the movie goes on. I gotta give them props. Another cool thing I gotta give props is seeing Tom Hollander, aka Commodore Beckett from the second and third Pirates movie, pulling a triple duty, playing the roles of King James, Kaiser Wilhelm, and Tsar Nicholas in one movie. That's crazy. How can he do that is just beyond me. It's just some great stuff. And again, I got to praise the cast too. Gemma Arterton, good stuff. And of course, the guy that they got to play Rasputin, Rhys Ifrans, or I pronounce the guy's name is. I didn't realize who he was until I pointed this out to my wife. And I said, "That's Nigel. What's his name from The Replacement?" She just looked at me like, "What?" And of course, I'm like, it's him. It's like, it's so eerie. Like, he is able to, like, it's like, he's completely unrecognized. It's like, he is Rasputin, which is scary as shit. And of course, I really like that. I will admit, I did like the Rasputin fight. To me, that was like one of the big highlights of the whole thing. But then later on, like, I kind of liked what they did with some pretty cool, interesting, like, storytelling set pieces. I was like, that's pretty neat. But at the same time, you're like, oh man, that sucks. Again, I don't want to give much away if anybody has not seen this or seen any of the Kingsman movies, because if you followed me before, I've talked about the Kingsman movies before, and how much I enjoyed them. And to me, I feel like this is an okay prequel. I feel like it's not as good as the first one, or better yet, The Golden Circle, but everything is there. Like, the formula's there. You can see everything just laying the groundwork. It's ground zero. Before, as like I said, that essentially feeds into the main story and into the Kingsman lore, which is pretty cool. I also love the fact, like, the shock twist reveal of the villain, which I thought was a little cliche. It's like, oh, the villain, he's enclosed in a silhouette. You don't know who he is. His voice is disguised. And of course, I'm like, oh, wait, you're like, wait a minute, that feels so familiar. It's like, I don't know. It's like, I kind of like the old cliche, but at the same time, it's like, you could have thought of something better. I don't know. No, if anybody, you know, like, I think they would have done something more creative, but the whole shock twist reveal of the villain is just, basically just go, I did not see that. Like, and then, of course, obviously, it goes to the whole cliche of, oh, why did he do this? Or how did he do this? Or how do you pull it off kind of thing. Again, not wanting to give much away, but at least there's some good stuff, you know. And also getting the fact to, like, got a couple great cast members to eerily recreate or bring to life some of these historical figures. Not just those three, and like I mentioned, Vladimir Lenin, Mata Hari. I was like, holy shit, they really went all out. I'm like kudos. I'm like, seriously, Vaughn, great work. I'm like, it just goes to show, like, hey, you can do what you can to recreate people from history, where it's in a great fashion, where it can be good or bad, but hey, at least you go the distance to if your commitment to the role and commitment to the story and to the source material is just perfect in its own way. And again, tip the hat to everyone involved. Great stuff. Like I said, my only gripe is not a lot over the top deaths. Like, if you're expecting something crazy, like the fight between Eggsy and Agent Whiskey at the end of the Golden Circle, nothing like that. But damn, like it's a different pace version of the R2 stories. I feel like this one's kind of a bit more slowed down, where the other ones, it's like okay, something crazy's happening. I'm like, okay, you're on a mission. You know, you get that go up and down. Here, it's like a little bit more. So it's like the slow build. Something happens, and really follows the tone of the events of the First World War, which in a way I think you would appreciate. But at the same time, it's like, where's the payoff to some of these things that you want to see happen? But then of course, it all comes together in the final act. It's like you want the main guy to win. You want to see who the hell this bad guy is, who the real villain is behind the events of the war. It's creative, it's clever, and all around, it's a perfect way to like I said, to give the Kingsman fans what they want. Again, I don't think it holds a candle to R2, but still a fine prequel in its own right. Okay, and I'd say give this movie a watch. You might like this. For any people that love seeing, or into the history, or love seeing, going back to see some of the old war stuff, I think you would really enjoy this. So with that in mind, I'm gonna give the Kingsman. I'm gonna give it a solid 7. Okay, I wanted to rate it higher, but again, to me, nothing will match count to the R2 movies. This was a fine one. I would say it's not bad. It's like, I was kind of expecting more, if that makes sense. And of course, if there is going to be another Kingsman movie, I want to see where this goes. Okay, I really love what they do with this crazy stylized James Bond meets something more kind of series. I really enjoyed it, right? So that does it for today. Thumbs up this video, subscribe to my channel, stay tuned for some more awesome and exciting videos.